Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to the 9th episode of Chat Mini Podcast, a podcast about catching up, having good conversations during this pandemic, and giving advice or two as well. Now it's time to welcome our guest, Brittany, to the Chat Mini Podcast. She is here to chat, laugh, have a good time, and talk about how she's coping during this pandemic. Brittany, thanks for joining me. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Super happy to be here.
Yay! So just straight to it. A little background about us. We have known each other for about 2 years or so now, since 2018. You and I have the same birthday, which is awesome.
Yes.
What a small world.
Birthday twin.
Yes, birthday twins. And we are about 6 years apart, and feel we bonded right away when we first met. And we definitely bonded over just trying to make ourselves be better and grow, and we also took a spiritual retreat together, and that's what we're here to talk about as well. Just a quick summary, like, how did you find out about the retreat, and then you decided to tell me about it?
So I encountered with Jake as my life coach. I just found him on my Instagram. He popped up and he caught my attention, so I started to just follow his posts, his content, and then I started just getting more into it. So finally, when I reached out to him, we had this phone call, and then I became his client. And then we did lots of work with each other. And then after that, that's when I discovered the spiritual retreat. And that's when, I was telling you about everything to begin with, I believe. And then after that, I just decided to tell you, because I just felt that I had to tell you,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it.
I'm so happy you did tell me. But also, before we took the spiritual retreat, we also did a women's
That's right.
group.
Sacred group.
Yes, a women's sacred group for about 2 months that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a group of us where we just basically talked about how we felt and how to get better and grow more.
Definitely.
So about the spiritual retreat, did you feel like, I know you know Jake, and I knew Jake too because of that, but did you feel like it was a scam?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
How did your family and friends react, about you going to the retreat?
They really didn't react to it. They're just happy. As long as I'm happy, they were happy.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about both my family and friends, or the circle of influence. They just support me. As long as I'm happy, they're happy. Because they know no opinions about whatever they're doing, and it's vice versa.
Yeah.
But they were pretty supportive.
Did they feel like it was a cult?
No,
really?
Absolutely not. I did not get that from them.
Yeah. With my family, I told my family and friends, and they're supportive, but they're they get a little worried. They're like, well, what if it's a cult? What if you get murdered or what? They had all these things. I'm like, no, I'm going with Brittany. I'm not going alone, so it's all good. You know what I mean?
That made it easier.
Yes. With I interviewed Jeremy too on the podcast earlier on, in March, April, I don't remember.
Really?
But we talked about the spiritual retreat too, and we talked about that, how his family thought it was a cult too.
Oh, wow.
In a way. It's so funny.
I didn't know you. I mean, you had mentioned it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I
So you
need to
can,
see
it was funny. That was a long podcast. We talked about everything, but it was on Zoom, so we talked about
I love
everything.
Jeremy. He's awesome.
He's
awesome.
so funny. What was the hardest thing you had to do there? No details, just for example, it's one of the things Jake had us do was the gates of hell. And the reason why it was hard for me was because we had to look at each individual in the eye and tell them to basically fuck off in a way, or stand my ground. And I felt that was hard for me because yes, we were in the house together, but I didn't really know them like that, for me to look them in the eye and tell them hey, get the fuck out, or whatever our thing was. Was that hard for you, or what was hard for you?
Actually, it was difficult for me to do, not for that reasons. That didn't cross my mind, oh, these people, no. It was just harder for me because I was literally picturing the person to honor my space.
Yeah.
So that was just super hard to put that picture it in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, the first gate, I was just I just tore apart. It was hard for me to get past it, but I did, So I agree that throughout the whole retreat, that one was the hardest. Not a test, but
it was hard. Yeah, basically telling people to slow down, slow your roll. Did you feel like eating the plant food every day was hard, or did you enjoy that?
No, I enjoyed it because to begin with, you're supposed to go with an open mind, and that was me, a full blown going with an open mind, open heart, and it was just I get excited to try anything new.
Yeah.
Like you already know. So I was pretty open about it. It was different. I was like, why can't I make this stuff? You know? But
Exactly. I felt it was awesome just to have a cooked meal every morning, every lunch, every dinner, and I was always full.
Yes.
And I felt healthier when I left.
Cleansed and
Cleansed. Yeah, I
spicy
felt so
food.
good. And then once we finished the retreat, we go eat a burger.
Yes, we so did. We're like,
My stomach was hurting, honestly. Like, it was hurting
I
big
do
time.
remember that. Straight meat.
What is your favorite memory in the retreat house?
The overall experience. Well, yeah, overall experience, right? But I want to say where we would burn our those papers.
Yeah,
that we did around the fire, right?
Yeah.
Like outside.
Yeah.
That one, because that one I really did like release and just like felt it. Super good.
Yeah.
So that one I miss, you said, right?
Yeah. Like your favorite memory.
The favorite memory. Overall, that one was the biggest one. But overall, everything too.
Everything, right?
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone was so cool. I think my favorite memory is like just Jeremy making us all laugh. To be honest, like at the table, wherever we're at, or we were all just, even though it was serious, and then we were growing and changing, but like we were laughing at the same time.
And also checking out the little, with that downtown, right?
Oh yeah, in Catskill. Yeah, New York. Yeah. Oh, that was awesome too. Like I felt, honestly, I don't know if you felt like this, but when I got to the house and then we were in the room with the bunk beds, I felt like I was in a dorm. Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, wow, I went to college, but I didn't stay in the dorm room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I didn't think of that, but I just felt like happy. I was like, oh my god, we're sharing rooms.
Yeah,
that's what I felt.
I was happy that me and you went together, but I'm also happy that yes, we went together and we're friends, but we also kind of like, not that we went our own ways, but we kind of like did our own thing while we were there, but we're still like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Yeah, but
we
we're
weren't
still
like stuck.
Yeah,
like, this is us, you know. Like we're just being ourselves. Getting to know everybody and the environment for sure.
Even Kat said that too. I think she's all like, yeah, I really was. She said something like, I knew friends were coming together or something like that, but I thought you guys were gonna be glued and not like isolate yourself. I'm like, no, girl, like we're pretty social.
We're the same person, so we're just like,
yeah. Well, I'll see you right now. Okay.
Right. Yeah, it's all.
What lessons did you take from the retreat? Do you still apply them today?
I do. I honestly do. Like, of course, like I'll kind of tend to stray away from it.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget like the meditation for sure. I don't even remember like what else, but just remembering to ground myself.
Yeah.
Ground myself and don't forget like all the work that I've done in the past. Don't just throw it out the window.
Yes.
But yeah, I actually do, or I go back and to memorize. And yeah, so I was actually going through some notes.
Mm-hmm.
We took a little bit of notes, right? I guess I don't even remember. But
yeah, I think we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I go
like
back
class.
to it. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you still apply everything?
A little bit, yeah. I feel like definitely I don't regret going to the retreat because it helped me grow tremendously and helped me get rid of like insecurities and caring too much of what people thought of me. Like I don't care anymore. I don't let it control me. But yeah, in a way, yeah, I definitely do apply those as well. But not like, but I definitely put God first. You know what I mean? First through everything, and then but I feel like God works through people.
Of course. And the dancing, I still do the dance. Like that's part of my morning routine.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I do. No, I still do. Just because I do have another life coach actually right now. So
okay.
I still have Jake and then another one.
Yeah.
So he's a constant reminder, and I was like, oh yeah, like I remember this with this, you know. So.
And just to explain a little bit about the dancing that I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, is just to be free, to set loose, right?
To get your blood flowing, to just get your blood flowing, because when you move, it's just a flow.
Yeah.
So it's like feminine energy, and you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Releasing tension.
Yes.
So
not to be so, how do you say, not to take life so seriously.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, especially in the morning. Like you can't just get up and go to work. No, you get up, do your routine, do some dance, and yeah, it's
have a
awesome.
positive attitude and be like, it's gonna be a good day.
But don't get me wrong, there's days where I forget to do it, and I'm like, oh my god.
You're like, I don't want to do this right now. Honestly, do you feel? Because I talked with this with Jeremy too. Do you feel like we spend a lot of money, like going to the retreat?
No, and I even forgot how much.
Yeah.
One invest.
Yeah.
Because like investing in yourself is very important, is what I've learned along the way. Yeah. Same with this this new one, a new one, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's like investing in your health or for mental, for yourself, anything. There's no, just, you can't put a price on it. You can't.
Yeah, that's true. And once we started going with Jake, I definitely kept that in mind, because that was the best investment I ever did.
Exactly.
Ever.
Exactly.
I definitely needed it. And just to be with other 12 beautiful souls who needed it as well, and we were there together for a reason. I definitely feel like God works through people, and we were supposed to be there too.
Yes, of course. I almost went on his most recent one too.
Really?
But it got canceled.
Oh, that's right. It was in April.
But it got moved to September, and it was supposed to happen, but he just canceled future retreats because of this whole pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
But I was investing again. Like, I was super ready.
No way.
I even have booked the flights, and now the flights, I saved them for like the next, like, anything, right?
Yeah.
So
that would have been cool. Was it still in Catskill or?
No, it was some other, but in New York, but just some other name.
Somewhere else.
Some other name that I can't memorize. But we're gonna stay somewhere else too. Manolo, probably not Manolo.
Yeah.
Those were like the Dalai Lama.
That's awesome.
And more people. I think like 50.
Whoa! That's too much.
Right. But it was a bigger place. Way bigger place.
That would have been interesting.
Yes. But it's alright. He did cancel future retreats.
Yeah.
Until, who knows, right?
Yeah. That's so interesting. Jake, you rock. Keep rocking. So another segment I like to do is how did we meet? Like, how do you remember us meeting?
Well, I want to say through our friend Raul, right, at the Home Run Nutrition.
Yeah.
Right? I met you through there. Like, that's where I majority have met a lot of my friends, is through that club.
Yeah.
Because of them, you know?
I remember walking in, I was like, oh, there's a new girl? And then I was like, yeah, it's Brittany. And then we just started talking and whatever. Like, oh, she's cool.
That's right. I do remember.
Yeah. How cool is that? We did stop talking for a little bit, like after Raul left. And then you ended up opening Empower Nutrition, which is your own club. And that's how we reconnected, I feel.
Yes, that's true.
I started working in downtown and everything.
Yeah.
What was the good and bad of owning your own nutrition club?
So the good, of course, is being your own boss. Like, not having to listen to anybody or work for somebody else's dreams. And then the bad, right, you said?
Yeah.
I guess sacrificing. But with anything that, you know, you set your mind to, one knows that you have to sacrifice. So I was working the club 7 days a week.
That's right.
You know, I never went back home to visit family. I was missing family gatherings. I was missing everything. But I knew I was going in with that, taking this, you know, like, leap of faith to own my own business, you know? So I knew that, but those were like the pros and cons of it.
Yeah. And you did that for a year, I think?
Over a year. I think it's like a year and 6 months already.
How did you get through not being tired? Or how did you get being tired? Or how did you get through it, basically?
Just, if you do something that you love, you don't even see it as work.
That's so
to begin
true.
With. Yeah. That is the biggest thing. Doing what you love to do, you don't even see it as work. You just get up on your own, do it.
You're happy to go and be there. Like, let's go.
Exactly. To impact the community even more, and just making everything.
Yeah.
For sure.
How do you feel like Empower Nutrition has grown since you opened it?
It honestly just, I don't even know how to explain that.
Yeah.
Because I've met so many people, you know, so many conversations, and it's not just your ordinary shop. You know, there's different kinds here in El Paso, but I knew taking over and owning it, I wanted to make it different, stand out. So when you walk in the door, like, you always see me smiling, positive attitude, conversations, laughing. Like, this was your place to relax, have a conversation. If you're having a bad day, come into the club and, you know, just have fun.
I loved how it reminded me of just like a coffee shop, just to chill out for a bit.
Definitely. So that's why I remodeled it just like that too, to get that coffee shop vibe.
Well, I remember, like, when I worked in downtown, like, when I would have my break, I think I would stay there for an hour.
I know. You were overdoing your lunch. And I loved it. I was like, yeah, I'll just stay here.
Stay here all day. Don't look in.
Oh, I do remember.
Since you opened Empower Nutrition, you also done other things that I've seen, like Mixed Fit, and then I think you're a manager for the guy who does the Mixed Fit instructor. Like, explain a little bit about that. How did you get into that?
So Mixed Fit is just a whole different fitness program to begin with. It's more of like explosive movements. We use body toning with your own weight. So I absolutely fell in love with that program because of my friend, my very good friend Sam.
Yeah.
So I went to his classes, and then I just got so inspired. I'm like, well, how can I become an instructor? You know. So I took the initiative to like search, and then I went to go get instructed. And then the whole manager thing, just to begin with, like when I attended his classes, I could see him just like glowing, like he loved this for real.
Yeah.
So for sure, like we just started doing events. Like our first event, free to the public, a workout event. We did it at San Jacinto downtown, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we started doing those because there's like fit camps all around El Paso, and I'm not a fit camp person. So I'm always like, how can I do this differently? Like, how can I do something to bring people together, but not like a fit camp? So that's when I was like, oh, Mixed Fit. And I spoke to him, and he was game. We did that one event, and people were like, how often do you do this? And I was like, oh, it's just this one time. They're like, well, you should do it more often. So that's when like the wheels in my brain were spinning, and I talked to him, and I was like, hey, like, because he's also an officer. So I was like, I know you work, your schedule changes, but would you be down to do this once a month? Just let me handle everything. I'll work around your schedule. Yeah. So that's what I was doing consistently once a month, these events. And it just kind of came though, like one time he was like, you're like my manager, like you just get stuff done. But that's just who I am. Like, or I know like most women are like that too. Like we just like to get stuff done. We're super organized, and we make it happen. Yeah. You know, so that's just kind of how it happened. And then for sure I'm just helping him go further into the mix of it because he can. And then as well, like he's like my mentor because I'm just like learning from him too of becoming a better instructor.
That's so cool. So your plan is to also like teach mixed fit classes, right?
Absolutely, that is the goal.
You guys get down. I went to one. I was like
and it's all about having fun.
Yeah, it is. That's what I love. And it's dance. I love to dance. Yes. Like, oh, that's so cool. What advice do you have for someone opening their own business or have learned throughout this process from opening yours? Like, yeah, what advice do you have for them?
So honestly, because I've always known I wanted a club, but I wasn't gonna be like from one day to the next, let's do it, right? To me, it's you will know when the moment is right. Like you'll feel that gut instinct. And secondly, a business plan. Like having a business plan, knowing the numbers, like how many people is it going to take to get in through the door, to pay the bills, to just pay everything, right? So definitely a business plan, being prepared, knowing how much you're going to have to invest, and just being prepared because like I know you just can't do it from one day to the next. So true. So I know for sure even the location, like I spent 2 weeks looking for a location, but then that place just happened to pop up as an opportunity. So I was like, oh, perfect, you know. So
did you invest a lot in Empower Nutrition?
Honestly, no. Okay. Just because I took it as it is, like with the bar, with the three sink, like everything, like it was already there because I was looking at empty spaces. So if I looked at empty spaces, I had to still remember like I had to build a bar, put in the 3 sink, like everything, right? That would have been a higher investment. Yeah. So definitely taking the place as is. I didn't just remodeling basically the paint, shelves.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, so it came out really good.
Thanks.
Man, you really just have to do it. Don't think, do. Well, I mean, think, but then do it.
Yes, like don't hesitate. Yeah, don't hesitate.
And if you,
but responsibly.
Yeah. Responsibly. And if you don't like it, that's okay. Like
it's okay. Definitely.
You did it, and that's awesome. Yeah. From the spiritual retreat, how do you feel like we have grown from then to now?
Well, definitely not. Like for me, I guess you can explain. Like I was more like in a shell, but I didn't give off that I was in a shell. You know, learning more how to speak my truth or speak from within for sure. I don't know. Like I know definitely from then to now, I've definitely grown because I know who I am. Yeah. To others, and I accepted that as before I never did. So definitely, I can say I just by that. I don't know how to explain it.
No, yeah, I get you. Like, do you? Same. I feel like since we're both cancers, I feel like we're both sensitive in a way. Yeah. So I would take things personally. Like if I would take everything personally, which is the wrong way of thinking about it. Like it if they say no, that's okay. Then move on and you'll figure it out, you know?
It's
like,
true.
I don't take things personally anymore. I wouldn't have done this podcast back then, to be honest. Like, I was insecure in myself. And
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, like, just, again, like, just doing it. Do it. And if you fail, I guess, that's okay. Like, you could always grow from it.
At least you tried.
Exactly. Or another door will open from it, you know? So,
Definitely.
you gotta just definitely try things. And
Yes.
that's what I've learned from that experience.
Of course. Or else we'll live with regrets.
Exactly. And that's what I was doing, like, living with regrets the whole time. But I also feel like I've learned to be more grateful.
Oh.
Like, back then
good.
I was in news and I wasn't grateful for it, and then I left, and then I went to do social media for a store and I wasn't grateful for it, and then I left. Like, I need to be more in the present. That's what I'm working on now. Being more in the present, but I feel like I'm grateful.
That's
Do you know
good.
what I mean?
That's good. That's really good. Grateful for the little things.
Yes.
Especially, like, that's also included in my morning routine. I wake up, what are the things that I'm grateful for? And that's it.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's true. It's true. Like, I even took for granted being grateful for the littlest things.
Yes.
The littlest things.
And when you're grateful for the little things, like, life is so awesome, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
It definitely is a crazy time right now. Some of us are coping. Some of us are feeling like it's Groundhog Day. Brittany, what have you been doing to stay sane during this pandemic?
So, at the beginning, when it started, I'm not going to lie, I was, like, panicking.
Yeah.
But me like, talking about it, like, I reached out to to Raul, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm panicking, and he's like, don't, it's gonna be okay, right? So I guess that was, like, a little normal thing to panic. But after, you know, I calmed down, you know, it's just, like, really taking the extra precautions. So at the like, it's still now, but I really just was super to myself. Like, I guess I was already quarantining myself, so I just did the business, didn't do dine-in, did curbside. I adjusted my hours for sure. So I did everything just to, like, go with what was happening, right? Like, act quickly. So that's what I did for sure. So I did the club and then home and then working out at the parks before they closed, like, just staying to my little self.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Was that hard for you to do, like, to change it from one day to the next?
Yes and no. Like, because I was like, well, because from the customers that I would talk to, it was just a bunch of, like, negative, and I didn't like what I was seeing from them, but of course I was there for them. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna be like that. Like, no. So finally, so it just wasn't hard, because I was just like, what's happening, so just go with it. Like, I'm not gonna go against it. And you know, I was always, like, looking on social media to be like, okay, what's going on, like, what are some changes, what I need to do, so, or to be on top of everything for sure. But yeah, like, I just stayed calm, of course, and talking to my family too, like, are you okay, do you need anything? I'm like, no, yeah, I'm okay. You know.
And even during this pandemic, it's kind of hard not to see your family. It's weird. Like, I went to go see my parents even during the pandemic, and I was wearing my mask and outside. I'm like, does this have to be like this? But and they're like, come in. I'm like, are you sure? Like, it's just so weird. I mean,
it is.
I ended up going in, but because I know where they were, like, they're staying home too and being safe. So
for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. Everyone's struggles are different. What has been some of your struggles during this pandemic, whether positive, negative, or both?
I'm trying to, like, even think, because, like, I don't even see it as much of a negative. You know, because I really was the one to like, listen. And then I mean, for sure there was a little scare at my club, so thank God a customer felt the need to tell me, right?
Oh, good.
What did I do? I closed my shop, and I'm being honest, like, I'm gonna be super honest.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I closed the shop. I was like, nope. So I hired these people that, like, disinfected, and they fogged everything, because I was like, I just want to take extra precautions. And I did go get tested, because I just wanted to be sure. And I isolated myself until I got those results. And then whatever happened, you know, positive or negative, I was like, okay. But thank God it was negative, because, like, I would have had to, if it was positive, I'd have been, like, I would have told, like, just the close customers, not put it publicly. I've seen people do that. That wouldn't have been my choice. I would have just done, like, personal messages. But thank God I didn't have to, right? But it was terrifying, because I was just, like, in my own mind, like, what if this and what if that? Like, it was such an emotional coaster. But my life coach helped me get through that little bump, you know, like. But it was crazy.
Oh my God, that is scary. I'm all, like, at home not doing anything. What's up, guys?
Right? And well, me, because I do have to go still open up the business, so, like, definitely. And now I have, like, little signs, like, do not enter without your mask, no public restrooms. And, you know, those little little signs that one has.
Yeah. And guys, like, Brittany is very clean. Like, she really is. Like, you touch something, she cleans it right away, even before the pandemic, I remember. Yeah.
For sure. Just because, I don't know, it's just like common sense. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But now it's even more.
Yeah.
Because I have a pump of sanitizer. The menus are gone.
Yeah.
So I rearranged my little board, and like everything's on there for you to look at. And if you touch them,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But we definitely have to take those extra precautions.
You got to. And I appreciate you for taking that, because a lot of people don't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. But going on, I didn't ask you this before and I wanted to. Now with Empower Nutrition, like, what made you decide to leave the club? Yeah.
So, to begin with, during the whole pandemic, my parents were trying to move me back because they just really thought that my business went from, and that wasn't the case, you know. I was like, my mind, no, I'm gonna stick it out, gonna get through this. So I was like, no. I went on vacation with them for my birthday. We went camping. It was just us.
I saw. I want to be there. Yeah.
So during that time, because I hadn't seen my dad in a long time, so it was just nice to see him. And then finally, I just asked him, like, do you really want me to move back? And then he said yes. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of felt that, like, he really meant it. Yeah. And then also, too, like, my mom, whenever she would try to convince to me, she was like, oh, mija, like, your dad really needs to, you know, like, you don't understand. I was like, no. But during that trip, it just, you know, opened up my eyes more. And so finally, I was like, well, let me think about it. I told my dad. So at the end of the trip, literally, when I opened up my eyes, when I woke up, I felt God tell me, move. And of course, I'm big into, like, listening to, like, your intuition, and of course, like, God. Yeah. So I did. So I went to his room and I told him, I'm moving, but give me time. Mm-hmm. Give me time to leave everything on goods. Like, I can't just pick up and go, you know, breaking contracts. Like, no.
Responsible thing
I had to do the responsible thing because I care about my customers. Yeah. And, you know, breaking the news to everybody. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. And I'm excited. I'm honestly excited to go with him, to work for him. And earn my way in his company. I told him I'm excited to learn something new, something to feed my mind, and who knows, I can apply what I've learned into something else along the lines in the future. Yeah. You know, so I'm really excited. Like, why not? I have to be smart about my life right now. I'm grateful that they let me move out here, try it out. I don't see me leaving the club as a failure, not at all. And I'm not moving because of the pandemic. It's just time to go back home. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about all that. And yeah, like, that's what I'm doing, is just making sure everything's good, in good hands. I wasn't gonna just leave it to anybody. Like, I gotta make sure that I like the person taking over the club so that my customers can still feel comfortable ongoing. Yeah. And it's been really, really good. Of course, bittersweet. Ever since I've publicly went with it, like an emotional roller coaster, crying so much, but bittersweet moments, you know. But it'll be okay. Like, I can still come visit. It's not that far. Yeah, you know, people can go and I can come, vice versa.
You know what's funny? I have a cousin and my brother live there, and I don't visit. But because they come here, so I'm like, oh, all right. But I should. Maybe I will visit more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
That'd be awesome.
I was gonna say something. Yeah. So talking about, like, you leaving the club, moving on. That's okay. You tried it. Mm-hmm. You decide it's time to move on. Same thing with me and Vanya, who's behind the camera too. We both worked in news, and same thing. Like, I worked in news for like 4 years, and it's one of those things where, you know what, I did this already, it's time to move on. Let's see what a new chapter.
Of course.
Yeah, so I'm so happy for you to do that, and I want people to know that it's okay to move on, and if you go back, that's fine too, you know. Like, you gotta try new things.
Of course. And definitely, because if not, we're gonna live with regret, and it's even more easier that I have no kids or a spouse. So I'm still young to do this. Yes. To do it, like, no matter what. Yes. So I am happy about that too.
Maybe you'll find your spouse over there. Oh
right over there.
I'll be going to your wedding. Never know, girl.
Like, Judith, remember the podcast? Like, yeah. Look.
Yeah. I'll be like,
put a time on there, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Next month. I'm just kidding.
Okay, no, I'm not even gonna be in Odessa yet.
Never mind. Last thing, any advice you want to give to those struggling during the pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. Because let me bring up something. I know when the pandemic started, I felt the need to go live. Mm-hmm. So I went live, and I just, like, you know, everybody was jumping on, and I was just speaking from the heart. Like, you know, like, hey guys, like, if you're struggling, you know, I'm here. Reach out, shoot me a message, you know. And the biggest thing that I saw is that parents having their children at home, like, everybody had to adjust different ways, right? But the biggest like thing that caught my attention was the mommies or the parents. You know, I was like, you know, props to you guys from making this big change of like having to homeschool you kids and, you know, just everything, right? And that really helped out a lot of people. A lot of people were thanking me for that.
Yeah.
So definitely what I would love to say right now is like, if you just like, don't panic or don't worry, like, trust me. And I know it's something that we can't control, because it's like it comes to us, but we can't control it. Like, it's all mentally and honestly, now from like how when it started till now, we need to just see it as like it's the new norm, right? But then just move forward. Don't get stuck in the past, for sure. Just take it day by day, moving forward. Because that's how I'm seeing it now versus like looking back in when this first started, or I don't know, all these things, right? Yeah. But we just have to move forward, stay positive, you know. And I know there's not much to do, but, you know, go out for a walk, dance with your kids, by yourself, do something that you love to do to just shake off whatever that you're feeling, for sure.
Shake it off.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and of course it's going to be hard, because I know a lot of us have like that quarantine weight or something. We're just going up and down. Yeah. Don't beat yourself up about it. You know, just do the change that you want to do.
Thank you so much, Brittany, for joining me on Chatting Me podcast today. And also thank you to Star City Studio. Thank you to Vanya behind the camera. Thank you to James who's doing audio. You rock. Please click that subscribe button and catch up on the previous episodes of Chat Me podcast. Catch you all next time. Do you want to say bye with me?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Bye.